Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Yashim, Yahweh Shah, by Yashim Wakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well. Peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word in sincerity, also in truth. You know, pride is very deceitful. You know, you could think that you're being righteous and you're doing the will of the Heavenly Father, but in fact you're pleasing your own flesh. It's very important, that we are monitoring our pride and being aware that it's not about us, but it's about the Heavenly Father. And what's beautiful about this truth of ours is that we have examples in the scriptures of men that were righteous but became willful and were reprimanded by the Heavenly Father. And a beautiful example of that is the King Uzziah, which we'll be getting shortly. King Uzziah was a king during the time of the prophet Hosea and also the prophet Isaiah. And he did righteous. He was righteous according to the Heavenly Father, but he did one act that was willful, and you know, he was cursed for it. So this is before we get that count, I want to get this in Sirach. This is Sirach 10 and 12. The beginning of pride is when one departeth from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. That's right. So when pride comes, when someone becomes willful or prideful, they depart from the Heavenly Father, and they become self-willed, you know. And it's truth of all, you could believe that you're serving the Heavenly Father and it's all about Him, but in fact, you're trying to please your own flesh. You know, um, you could be doing too much, quite frankly. For lack of a better term. Case in point, you feel like you have to get precept for every single thing that a brother says. I had that demon on me. I felt like I had to get a precept for everything that a brother said. Everything. And I thought that I was being righteous, but the Lord revealed to me that I'm really just being willful. I was being willful. You know, and it's just something to monitor. This thing isn't again about us and and about our perspective. It's about order of the Heavenly Father, and being out of order is being prideful. You see, it's being prideful. Now this is 1 Corinthians 8:1. Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. That's right. So you know, knowledge is it puffeth up, and let's get that word puffeth, because it'll illustrate what we're talking about here. And that word is for seal, for seal, or say for C-O-O-O, for seal, to make natural, to cause a thing to pass into nature, to inflate, blow up, to cause to swell up, to puff up, make proud, to be puffed up, to bear one's self loftily, be proud. That's right. So when you start learning things in these scriptures and you start getting more pats on your back, you know, it's it starts feeling good to you, man, and you be and you can begin to be prideful, man. You know, much like what happened to King Hosea or Uzziah. That's also was the name of his, man. When you read in was I want to say Second Chronicles, the 26th chapter, in Second Kings, the 15th chapter. You see, King Uzziah, he did great acts in the eyes of the Heavenly Father. You know, but what he did was he began to burn incense, in the temple, which was the job of the of the Levites, the sons of Aaron, and for that the Most High plagued them. Now let's get this account. Now this is Second Chronicles 26:1. Then all the people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old, and made him king in the room of his father uh, uh, um, Amaziah, which he was a righteous king. He built Elath and restored it to Judah. After that, the king slept with his fathers. 16 years, 16 years old was Uzziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Jecoliah of Jerusalem, and he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that his father Amaziah did. And he sought the Most High in the days of Zechariah, and had understanding in the vision of the Most High, and the visions of the Most High. And as long as he sought Yahweh by Shemi Hawashai, the Most High made him to prosper. So he had understanding. You know, King Uzziah had understanding, man. He understood uh, the will of the Heavenly Father. You see, and he went forth in war with the Philistines and broke and break down the wall of Gath and the wall of Jabni and the wall of Ashdod, and built cities about Ashdod and among the Philistines. And the Most High helped him against the Philistines and against the uh, uh, Arabians, and dwelt in Gerbaah and the Mahanims, and the Amorites gave gifts to Uzziah, and his name spread abroad, even to even to the entering in of Egypt, for he strengthened himself exceedingly. Moreover, Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem at the corner gate, uh, and at the valley gate, and at the turning of the wall, and fortified them. So you had King Uzziah. You know, he was able to take down the Philistines, the Arabians, the Ammonites. You know, and also he was able to build towers and fortify the city of Jerusalem, man. So he was doing his thing. You know, when you take down these different when you were to take down different countries, those countries will pay you, or they will become tributaries unto you. You know, so the kingdom under the kingdom under the king Uzziah was doing substantially well. You know, he was able to make contracts and for buildings and things of that nature, man. So he was doing his thing. You know, also he built towers in the desert and digged many wells, for he had much cattle, both in the low country and in the plains. Husbandmen also and vine dressers in the mountains and in Carmel, for he loved husbandry. That means he loved uh basically agriculture. That word husbandry means agriculture, and all the things that we that were just named in verse 10. That's real money: cattle, land, uh, vine dresses, which is plants and things of that nature, berries. You know, uh, when back in the day when I first moved to Texas, I used to stay. Um, I actually moved to a very very small town where me only had like 300 people in there, and my people have land down here, and we would go through the land, and there would be you know, berries and things of that nature, and they were on a vine. You know, they were on a vine. You know, you would just go and you would just pick them, you would just eat them. You know, but all that land was cultivated years ago. When the farm had more uh uh people on it and things of that nature. So I say all that to say this. Most of those vines that they're talking about is like berries and stuff like that, man. Which is can be used to make wine and things of that nature. And it's very, very pleasant. To have that in your backyard. But the King Uzziah, he had fields of that. You know, so he was living in abundance. He was rich. Moreover, Uzziah had a host of fighting men that went out to war by bands according to the number of their account by the hand of J, J, Ja- Jael, the scribe, and Maaseiah, the ruler, under the hand of Hananiah, one of the king's captains. The whole number of the chief of the fathers of the mighty men of valor were 2,600, and under their hand was an army of 300,000 and 7,500 that made war with mighty power to help the king against the army. Man, so he had not only land, cattle, you know, towers to build, and what towers that were built, in Jerusalem. Man, he had a substantially big army, man. He had 300,700 uh uh 300,007,500 soldiers, man, ready at his command. You know, the Most High blessed him because why? If you read up, you know, he sought after Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, so the Most High gave him abundance, man. And Uzziah prepared for them throughout all the host shields and spears and helmets and halberd goings and bows and slings to cast stones. And he made in Jerusalem engines invented by cunning bands to be on the towers and upon the bullocks to shoot arrows and great stones withal. And his name spread forth abroad, for he was marvelously helped till he was strong. But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction. So he got all these things and he became prideful, man. For he transgressed against Yahweh his power and went into the temple of Yahweh to burn incense upon the altar of incense. And Azariah, the priest, went in after him, and with him fourscore priests of Yahweh that were valiant men. And they withstood Uzziah the king, and said unto him, It appertaineth not unto thee, Uzziah, to burn incense unto Yahweh, but to the priests, the sons of Aaron, that are consecrated to burn in incense. Go out of the sanctuary, for thou hast transgressed, neither shall it be for thy honor from Yahweh power. So Uzziah came was burning incense in the temple, which was a violation of the scriptures, the law, statute, commandments, because that office was given unto who? The the Levites, man. You see, not only did Azariah come, try to persuade Uzziah, that he was violating the law of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah, but he brought forth fourscore priests, which I want to say fourscore is 40, no 60. But let me look that up just in case, just for edification, brothers. You know, just for edification. And we was in verse 17. 80. Okay, so I'm very glad that I looked that up. It's 80. So you had the priest Azariah, he took 80 priests you know, to the temple to persuade Uzziah that he was going off. You know, but what did Uzziah do? Then Uzziah was wroth and had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was wroth, so he became upset. He was upset that he was being corrected by 81 priests. You know. Then Uzziah was wroth and had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was wroth with the priests, then the leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the priests in the house of Yahweh, beside the incense altar. And Uzziah, the chief priest, and all the priests looked upon him, and behold, he was leprous in his forehead, and they thrust him out from thence. Yea, himself hasted also to go out, because Yahweh had smitten him. That's right. So, when he was getting upset that he was getting corrected, the Most High plagued him with leprosy. And he was thrusted out of the temple. You know, and now and he was willing to leave because he realized that he was going off, man. So we brought this out to say this: don't get beside yourself, brothers. The Most High is blessing us with abundance in this truth. We're coming up on levels, but it's very important that we stay locked in, and stay humble and realize that we are servants for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Within us being servants for the true power, we become servants for our brothers. Okay? So I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles and elders that rule well. And peace to you brothers out there that's kicking his knowledge and truth and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers.